Okay, I am calling to order, again, the reconvening of the Early Childhood Finance and Policy Division. I think we've confirmed, as we knew before, that we are not morning people because there's a heck of a lot more energy in the room now than there was this morning, which we already knew from last year, but we've had that confirmed now. So Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn, we were walking through your presentation of your bill of House File 1, pardon me. And so, members, I think that the next presentation we had was on the family, friend, and neighbor portion of the bill. And so I want to call up the mayor of Richfield, Maria Reagan-Gonzalez, and I think that she's going to be joined by her own state representative, who is Representative Mike Howard. So if they can come up and join Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn at the testifiers table. This is excellent constituent service by Representative Howard. Stick close to his constituents. And so, Madam Mayor, if you can identify yourself for the record and then please proceed. I don't know if you're going to be going first or Representative Howard, but if you are, then please identify yourself and proceed. Okay.
Looks like Representative Howard is going to turn it over. Good evening, everybody. My name is Maria Reagan-Gonzalez. I am the proud mayor of Richfield, Minnesota. I am also here as a co-founder of La Red Latina de Educación Temprana. We are a family, friend, and neighbor childcare provider network of over 300 Latina family, friend, and neighbor childcare providers. So, is it fine if I just begin?
Please, yeah,
Great.
Please proceed.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for offering me the opportunity to speak. I greatly appreciate it. There are handouts that you all have about La Red Latina and the work that we do in family, friend, and neighbor providers. And what we do is we're very focused on developing community-based solutions to support healthy childcare and child development, as well as early learning opportunities for our communities. Specifically for children whose families choose and or need family, friend, and neighbor childcare. So that's aunties, brothers, and sometimes it's siblings actually, but grandparents as well who aren't necessarily in childcare centers, but are really at home taking care of their friends and their family members. I'm also here representing the Minnesota Prenatal to 3 Coalition. And I just want to express my gratitude to you all for the Family, Friend, and Neighbor Provider Grant Program as it's written in the amendment. And across Minnesota, as many of you know, family, friend, and childcare providers are many times the first choice for a lot of our families, and oftentimes also not necessarily the first choice, but because other childcare options are not affordable to our families, are not culturally appropriate, or inclusive of our families. There's many other barriers to quality childcare, and family, friend, and neighbor is oftentimes maybe the only option, a very affordable option, and is a lot of times what we choose first, especially in many of our cultural communities in terms of childcare for our children. We also know that 40% of our children across the state are being taken care of by a family, friend, and neighbors, particularly our infants and our toddlers. So almost half of our infants and toddlers in the state are in FFN care. Yet, we also know that there is very little support for FFNs across Minnesota, and this is very concerning to us, which is why we started our network. We hope that this grant program will help in ensuring that every Minnesotan child has access to high-quality care and learning experiences, regardless of the child care setting that they're in. And I know that we have a very short time, and I'm more than happy to provide any answers to the questions you may have about La Red Latina or the work that we're doing. But thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight.
Thank you much, Mayor. I'm grateful to have you. And I do want to highlight for members, because I feel like in our committee we haven't talked about this quite as much, that a full, as you said, 40% of young kids are in the care of family, friend, and neighbors. That's a whole part of this work that we haven't talked about a lot. And so this is an opportunity to provide that support. Representative Howard, did you have something you want to say relating to this?
Mr. Chair, thank you. I'll just be really brief and thank Mayor Reagan-Gonzalez and for sharing her perspective, and to Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn for including this important amendment in the bill, and also to the members of La Red that are here. They're doing amazing work in our communities, and we at the state need to support the community solutions that come forward. La Red's an amazing example of that, and we should be trying to build those kinds of community solutions across the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Howard. And Representative Howard or Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn, can you just remind us briefly of the grant program? It's $1 million for grants to support and work with family, friend, and neighbor caregivers. Just either way, Representative Howard.
Mr. Chair, yeah, this provision would provide $1 million grant for communities to set up these child care networks or to support them. And Mayor Reagan-Gonzalez or others could talk a little bit about what that kind of support looks like. But by doing this way, we can support the community solutions that are tailor-fit to those needs. And currently, there is not that level of support for our FFN networks, and this can be a vehicle to do so.
All right, thank you. Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you. I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you said about providers being culturally sensitive or culturally knowledgeable, a good fit for some of the care that we're looking for children in different cultural communities in the metro area, outstate Minnesota. And I think that being able to provide this sort of support for in-home care, family, friend, and neighbor care to make sure that parents have the ultimate choice about the care that's being given to their children is really critical.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions anybody has regarding the FFN portion of the bill? And not seeing any, and so I want to thank Mayor Gonzalez for being here, Reagan Gonzalez, and Representative Howard as well. And so we'll have now come up Ms. Holweger and Ms. Anderson. We'll have you both come up if we can. Thank you so much to both of you. And so members, we're going to be hearing in the next few testifiers about some of the grants through DEED, the Minnesota Initiative Foundation, and through First Children's Finance will be coming after this discussion. And again, pointing you to the spreadsheet in the bill that lays out the proposed expenditures in these areas, and then we kind of walk through the part of the bill as well. So I'm not sure who wants to go first. I think I've got Ms. Holweger coming first. I'm not sure which one of you that is. Over there, okay. And if you can identify yourself for the record, and then please proceed with your statement.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Please,
Chairman. Good evening. My name is Jenny Holweger, and I am the CEO of the Kandiyohi County Family YMCA in Willmar, Minnesota. I'm here to provide an example of what can be accomplished in a short amount of time with the right assistance to help alleviate the child care shortage. Thank you for letting me tell the story of the Kandiyohi County YMCA and what can happen when great people and organizations come together with a common goal. In December of 2018, Troy Peterson, one of my staff members, and I met with Representative Dave Baker to discuss how to help alleviate the child care shortage in Kandiyohi County. The First Children's Finance study of childcare in our county showed that there was a shortage of 770 spots. 170 of those were in Willmar, and 350 of those were between Spicer and New London. The shortage was affecting the economy and life of our county residents. Employees were in short supply, people were not moving to the area because they couldn't find childcare, parents were giving up jobs to stay home with children. The YMCA had the resources and the infrastructure to operate an additional child care center, but we didn't have the resources to build or renovate space or purchase the needed startup equipment that is needed for that type of an operation. Dave, of course, jumped right in and was on board, and that afternoon we were looking at spaces that may be available to accommodate a child care center. Before space could actually be committed to, we needed to raise the money for startup. A group of committed volunteers from Willmar, Spicer, and New London came together to guide the project and fundraise alongside our YMCA Board of Directors. With over $800,000 needed for this project, we knew that there was no one entity that could fund the entire project. So we started to raise money. By the mid-July, we had raised over $500,000 in support from individuals, businesses, community organizations, and the cities of Spicer and New London, which was the threshold we needed to start construction. The spaces we had considered were all readily available, but they would need renovations. We chose a space in the Green Lake Mall in Spicer, Minnesota, knowing it would revitalize the space we chose as well as the mall. Like many malls, it was starting to deteriorate, losing stores, and we knew it needed a little oomph to help that small town get its mall back. So there was some convenience factors with the mall. The mall was able to provide a grocery store for parents and a SNAP fitness center. So they were able to do kind of the one-stop shop with their child being in childcare with the Y at the mall. Construction began July 30th of 2019. To help the efforts, grants were also submitted. One of those grants was the deed grant. The deed grant helped to purchase the furnishings and curriculum materials and equipment. With $50,000 from the deed grant and leveraging over $30,000 in matching community donations, we were able to furnish the entire 5-room center, 2 infant rooms, 2 toddler rooms, and 1 preschool room to serve 82 children. The YMCA Early Learning Center officially opened on December 23, 2019, 1 year after the first initial discussion. Currently, 38 children are attending, and we have 45 total enrolled. There are 7 new babies starting in March. The center is staffed for the number of children enrolled and grows as the enrollment grows. Enrollment will increase to 82 over the next 9 months to meet the license capacity. It is anticipated that the license capacity will grow in 2021 to 90, as we will be changing one of the infant rooms over to a preschool room to accommodate the flow of children. We anticipate we will have added about 7 full-time employees and 23 part-time employees to the economy in Spicer directly. On behalf of the Minnesota State Alliance of YMCA's, I do want to point out that we do support the HF1 Article 3 Section 10 grants for childcare of $10 million to increase supply of quality childcare providers to support economic development. That goes directly along with staffing. Indirectly, parents of children enrolled will be able to seek or continue work because of the extra childcare spots we are able to provide to the county. So employers now can start to have a few more options for hiring staff. None of this would have been possible without a broad base of support. Our rural area is extremely generous, as are many other small communities in Minnesota. We had over 80 pledges, donations, and grant resources come in amounts from $10 to $100,000, and 1 baby blanket. The deed grant was valuable to this project and provided important foundational elements to help us serve the children and families in Kandiyohi County. As a current child care provider, I support the continuation of the deed and the MIF grants to expand child care availability.
Thank you for your testimony. And why don't we hear from Ms. Anderson now, if you can just identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Diana Anderson, and I am the President and CEO of the Southwest Initiative Foundation. Our region includes the 18 counties and 2 native nations of Southwest Minnesota, and we are one of the 6 Minnesota initiatives. We're independent nonprofit serving Greater Minnesota. And on behalf of the Minnesota Initiative Foundations, I'm here in support of House File 1, which includes child care investments and supports that will allow us to continue the work that we've begun in our region. Our Minnesota Initiative Foundation colleagues are each approaching child care work based on the region's unique needs. We're grateful for your support of this work last year through a legislative appropriation, and we appreciate the flexibility allowed for each foundation to address specific community-based solutions, which include both family and center-based child care providers. These dollars have a catalytic effect in addressing the shortage when combined with other dollars and resources. Southwest Initiative Foundation has focused our child care work in 5 areas, including project investment and technical assistance, community planning, professional development, public policy, and public relations. In Southwest Minnesota alone, we have leveraged well over $1 million in other non-state funding from private philanthropy, private investments, agencies, individual donors, and business financing and federal microlending resources to support it. We funded gap, feasibility, and market analysis, shared child care case studies, hosted community conversations and parent-aware trainings, provided technical assistance and financing to entrepreneurs and organizations. We've hosted new annual Kids First Conference in Granite Falls for more than 300 providers and other local trainings, ensuring providers can access the professional development and education they need close to home during non-business hours. Southwest Initiative Foundation has supported a total of 103 projects, conversations, and trainings in Southwest Minnesota. We're using an inclusive community planning process and engaging diverse groups of stakeholders, working community by community to address specific needs and leverage opportunities. A key component of our approach is engagement of the business community, as this is the fastest growing economic development issue impacting our region's businesses and their ability to attract and retain, the talent that they need. This collaborative approach, as you heard Ms. Holwerger say, has helped us create or retain 1,000 slots in both family-based and center-based opportunities here in Southwest Minnesota. And Mr. Chair and committee, we thank you for your time and deeply appreciate your support.
Thank you so much for your testimony. I do want to highlight for members that we did allocate funding to both of these programs last year, and I believe it was $750,000 each. I think maybe $1 million for DEED, $750,000 for the Minnesota Initiative Foundations. And so, and if somebody notes that I have that wrong, please note that. But in any case, approximately that amount. And to just note that the Minnesota Initiative Foundations, of course, operate solely in Greater Minnesota, and then these DEED grants, as proposed, are 50% Greater Minnesota, 50% in the metro. So we want to make sure to be supporting the provision of early care and learning throughout the state. Are there any questions for our testifiers or anything that Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn wants to add about this at all? Just looking to see if we have anything from anybody. So, okay, we will thank both of you very much for your testimony and for traveling here and providing your input. And then we've got the folks from First Children's Finance up next, Ms. Hagelbraid and Ms. Pearl. And thank you again. Hello. So please identify yourself for the record and please proceed.
Good evening, Chair Pinto and committee members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you. My name is Suzanne Pearl. I'm the Minnesota Director for First Children's Finance. Heidi Hagelbraid was not able to join us tonight. She's being a hockey mom, so that's where she is. First Children's Finance is a national nonprofit organization headquartered in Minnesota. Our organization focuses on the business side of childcare, ensuring that childcare businesses remain financially sustainable. Our staff are located in 6 rural Minnesota communities, as well as the Twin Cities metro area. They work side by side with childcare providers, both family childcare and childcare centers, helping them assess and address their financial needs. And through our Rural Childcare Innovation Program, we work directly with communities to help them assess their childcare shortage and find right-sized, locally created solutions to address that shortage. First Children's Finance also provides access to capital to childcare entrepreneurs. Since establishing our loan fund in 1997, we have loaned nearly $12 million to childcare businesses, including $3.5 million to childcare programs in Greater Minnesota. As Minnesota struggles with childcare deserts, the state of Minnesota can play an important role in providing capital to incentivize new childcare businesses and to grow the footprint of programs that are ready to expand. In order to address the shortage of childcare in Minnesota, I encourage you to consider investing resources to create the conditions that are supportive of childcare lending, including adequate capital from public and private sources, guarantees or credit enhancements, operational dollars for highly specialized technical assistance, strong portfolio management infrastructure, and robust evaluation to measure impact. In closing, I ask for your support of House File 1. I believe this funding has the potential to change the landscape of childcare across Minnesota, increasing the availability of financially sustainable childcare for families and helping to create vibrant local economies. Again, thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Pearl. Any questions from Ms. Pearl or anything further about First Children's Finance? And I'm not seeing any. And Ms. Pearl, thank you so much for being here then. And then finally, in terms of the presentation of the bill, we've got some folks from Women Venture, Ms. Wyatt and Mr. Andrews. And come on up. And after this, we'll be having public testimony. If you're here for public testimony, you've not had a chance to identify yourself for that, if you can let the pages know that you're here, if you're not already on our list. And then please, I'm not sure who's going to be going first, but whoever is, you can identify yourself for the record, and then please proceed. So, Ms. Wyatt.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Elaine Wyatt, and I am the CEO of Women Venture. And for those of you who have not or don't know anything about Women Venture or may not be familiar with our work is really focused on helping women start and grow businesses that are profitable and therefore become sustainable and an asset to themselves and their families. We really work in what we call the 4 pillars of economic development. We do in-depth training, we provide access to capital, expert advice, and a community of support. We started working in the childcare space really because our clients directed us so. We started seeing a lot of women come through our doors who wanted to start childcare businesses. They are typically women who are making somewhere between $8 and $12 an hour in the industry, saw that their centers that they were working in were profitable and their owners seemed to be making a significant amount of profit, but they weren't sharing in that profit. And so it's really that journey that we stepped on with them to find a way to create childcare businesses that were going to produce at minimum a living wage, which we're really defining between $20 and $25 an hour for the women to take out of those businesses. And so we're going to talk a little bit about our in-depth training work and where we're at in that space. And Jeff Andrews from our team is going to talk about that.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wyatt. And Mr. Andrews, please identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Good evening, Chair Pinto, members of the community. Again, my name is Jeff Andrews. I serve as the Director of Program Innovation at Women Venture. I also serve as an early childhood business consultant for Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation. And for the past 5 years, I've worked around the state to support communities working to address their local child care shortages. I've also spent countless hours working with hundreds of individual business owners of licensed family child care businesses and child care centers on improving business outcomes to ensure profitability and sustainability. While this work is focused strictly on business outcomes, my passion comes from a place to support providers so they're in the best possible position to provide high-quality outcomes for the children under their care. Throughout my travels and work, one thing is clear: communities around the state are desperately seeking actionable solutions to support local growth of child care options, as well as ways to retain providers currently providing child care within their local towns and cities. In communities such as International Falls, Medelia, Albert Lee, along with local neighborhoods right here in the Twin Cities described as child care deserts, all need and want access to the same level quality of training and support to address their local challenges. At Women Venture, we've already successfully piloted and launched a multi-stage approach to accomplish this. Through online delivery and face-to-face options, we are leveling access to a pathway of both exploration and launch of new child care businesses. This includes a 2.5-hour session called Exploring Childcare that we're able to deliver virtually. We're also providing a 12-session family childcare business essentials course for those wanting to start a family childcare business, as well as a 20-session course for those individuals wanting to start a childcare center. Once participants are ready to launch, we provide access to capital to start their business, along with business consultation and support that their business ensures that their business starts with a strong foundational model that aligns with their desired service offering. In numerous conversations with licensors and community groups looking to support these new businesses, I've heard many times that they wish there were additional options that could support the smaller numbers of needs sometimes found in communities in greater Minnesota with the same level of quality and support that their larger city counterparts benefit from based on scale. While no one solution will resolve our challenges of giving every child access to high-quality early childhood education, your support of this bill will further expand the opportunity to communities of all sizes in all parts of the state to support those who want to provide this critical service and need. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you very much. And I just want to clarify that this would be a resource that would be available to providers across the entire state, no matter where they are. I think the thought is it would be available an online program, is that correct? Maybe
That's correct.
Mr.
Yes,
Anderson?
we've already actually piloted the online Exploring Childcare session. And the beauty of that session has been, frankly, giving people a reality of what the childcare business is like. And we've actually seen folks that have self-selected out as part of that, which we think actually is a good thing, because we want to be focused on those who can be sustainable and be professional and provide those quality outcomes for children.
Maybe in the rest of the bill, too, we can be setting a bar to make it be, showing a down payment to make it more sustainable in the future as well.
Absolutely.
So good, thank you. Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn, you have something you want to add?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to draw everybody's attention. There's the course catalog of sorts. It should be included in your folders. It was added later on this afternoon, so you might have not seen it this morning. And so the course overview that he was just speaking about is the top box where they kind of learn about a general overview about beginning a childcare business. And then after that, many of the providers or potential providers have said, maybe this isn't for me after all.
And so this is the sheet, members, that says Exploring Childcare and then Family Childcare Business Essentials 12, and a series of sessions that describes it. There's quite a lot of material in support of a number of these, a number of the items that we've talked about, so I want to direct members' attention to them. So thank you. Questions regarding the Women Venture portion of the proposal? And not seeing any, so I will thank both the testifiers on behalf of the committee. Thank you so much for being here. And Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn, I think that concludes your presentation of the bill for now. I know you'll be standing for questions later, but I think we're going to turn to public testimony now then. So I'll invite up Tammy Xiong from the city of St. Paul. If she is, oh, there she is. And so once you settle in, you can identify yourself, please, and then proceed.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Tammy Xiong, and I'm the Director of Intergovernmental Relations for the City of St. Paul in Mayor Melvin Carter's office. So, Mr. Chair, the mayor wants to apologize that he cannot be here personally. We have a letter that he's written, and if you can pass it out.
We'll have the page when you get a chance. Head back across the room. Thank you.
So I'm going to read some of the letter and not the entire letter. But it says, the City of St. Paul greatly values early childhood education. We have invested in and are committed to our programs such as College Bound St. Paul, Sprockets, Families First Housing Pilot, and the St. Paul Children's Collaborative. On behalf of our community, I ask you all to support House File 1 to further advance the city's investments. St. Paul's youngest learners deserve more support. St. Paul's poverty rates are the highest among children. Overall, 34% of the St. Paul's 3- and 4-year-olds live below the federal poverty line. There are currently nearly 950 children on waiting lists seeking school-based, pre-K, Head Start, child care assistance, and early learning scholarships. They cannot receive due to lack of funding. And these waiting lists do not include families who have simply given up hope of receiving the support they need. Finding childcare is also difficult and expensive. Minnesota is the third most expensive state for childcare, putting strain on families across St. Paul and often leading to gender inequities when one parent stays home. Early childhood education is one of the best investments St. Paul can make in the overall health, well-being, and future success of children and their families. Early childhood education helps eliminate opportunity and achievement gaps, decreases the poverty rate through supportive parents, and provides an economic boost for families who no longer have to worry about the expenses of childcare. High-quality early education boosts our economy, thanks to more stable workforce, thus attracting families and businesses looking to call St. Paul home. A strong system will support families in the transition to early elementary school. It's a win-win situation for our community.
And I might ask you to wrap up if you can, just because I want to keep our public testimony short if we can. Thank you.
I'm actually done.
Okay. There we go. Worked out well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee
Yeah,
members.
thank you. Good, thank you so much, Ms. Xiong. And members, if you have questions along the way for testifiers, let me know, but otherwise we'll just keep rolling. And so I think, Mr. Gehrman, we'll have you come up, and then to let folks know, we're going to have Cindy Cunningham after him, and I'll just keep rolling. Okay, and so please identify yourself for the record once you get settled in, and then please proceed.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I'm Rich Gehrman. I'm the Executive Director of Safe Passage for Children of Minnesota. And as some of you know, we're an advocacy organization promoting more resources and improved practices in child protection and foster care. While our primary focus is on child protection and foster care, we also have for several years now strongly supported early learning scholarships and targeted home visiting programs. And that is because while we want the child welfare system to be as effective as possible for those who need it, the best outcome is that children are not maltreated in the first instance, and therefore they and their families don't get reported to child protection or get into the system at all. And numerous research studies have shown, as I'm sure you're hearing, that early learning and home visiting programs are the two services that have the biggest impact on actually reducing child maltreatment. For example, our own Art Reynolds at the University of Minnesota showed that children who are attending the Chicago Child Parent Centers had 52% fewer substantiated child maltreatment reports. And Green et al. In a study demonstrated that children who were receiving early Head Start had 29% fewer substantiated maltreatment reports. Our colleague Sasha Klein at Michigan State showed that children who needed early childhood education but didn't get it were 3 times more likely to be placed in foster care within 18 months. And Malloy and Phillips showed that preschoolers in foster care who got ECE were 80% less likely to have a placement disruption. And as for targeted home visiting programs, Dumont et al. Showed that child protection recidivism decreased by 1/3 from 60 to 40% for women who received the Healthy Families America services. And of course, nurse home visiting programs have shown repeatedly a 52% reduction in child maltreatment in the overall population. So those are just a few of the studies, and I'm sure you will hear more. But the Great Start bill gives priority to the youngest children who are at the highest risk or who are already in foster care or child protection. So this bill will have a tremendously positive impact on the racial disparities in child protection and foster care that we're all concerned about, because it will reduce the number of families from those disproportionately represented communities who are getting reported to child protection in the first place, or will shorten their stays in child protection. So in our view, early learning scholarships and targeted home visiting are the 2 most important investments that the legislature can make to actually reduce child maltreatment in Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. And so we'll have Ms. Cunningham come up, and then Amy Wallstein will be after that, just as a heads up. And so please, Ms. Cunningham, just start whenever you're ready. If you identify yourself and proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Chair and committee members, my name is Cindy Cunningham. I am a family child care provider in St. Paul, up the street a couple miles. I am also the public policy chair for McPIN, which is a 501c3 state association for family child care providers. Our main focus in public policy ends up being on the care and safety of children, of the viability of family child care as a business option and client option for parents, and then also on working with systems to help them make work for both families and the children, and for family child care, and trying to intertwine all of those. The points that I'm just going to say we support and would like to see move forward is extending the time frame of program eligibility to the early learner scholarships. 8.22, I think, is the line. It's every 2 years we get to this point, and do we need to extend it so that it's not just 3- and 4-star rated programs? It's really imperative that parents have choice. The way the Parent Aware program has been being managed, it's not been advantageous or is a good business model for family providers to be in the higher star levels. There aren't clients, and the money motivation for reward is at the lower levels. Some of that is changing, and so I'm passionate about trying to make options for families to be in family child care by keeping that it would be nice to see, instead of every 2 years sitting here having this conversation, if we had a threshold of a 40% eligible participant, eligible programs participating. So that would be a hope or a suggestion. The other is the just continued increase for Pathways 1 scholarship. That is what typically comes to family child care. We cannot do Pathways 2 because we can't manage the program piece of it. So Pathways 1 follows the family. And so that's really where the family child care gets impacted. Increased funding for the programs through all of the previous presenters, especially in the areas of course, family child care. When you put $2,000 on a grant for family child care and $10,000 in center, the family child care actually has a higher investment return. We don't have the overhead, we don't have all the bricks and mortar. We have much more of a continuity of care with the people that are there, the cultural response, the ability of parents to really choose that one fit and that one provider is much stronger at providers. So I would continue to ask that the DEED programs look to try to figure out how to craft that for the family child care. The other, okay, the other ones were on the retained programs, definitely needs increasing for availability for providers to be able to have those extra boosts. And then on the section 10 on the modernization, no, I don't have it in front of me, on the licensing for family child care, that's been being talked about at a number of meetings I've been at over the years with DHS. It was brought up, I'm also on the task force for child care task force. It was brought up in the child care task force. What I read, we don't have an official stance of yes, this is the way or the how. We think that tier system on licensing is definitely a direction that is best to go. Since it has been brought up at the task force, I would look to those that are at this committee to make the decisions and the impact about where that's best evaluated on those points. So,
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. And again, if anybody has questions along the way in terms of members, speak up. Please, Ms. Wallstein, thanks for coming up, and then Mr. Gumnut will be up after her. So please identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Hi, my name is Amy Wallstein. I'm the Education, Policy, and Workforce Development Director for the Minnesota Business Partnership, the trade association representing the CEOs and senior leadership of Minnesota's largest companies. We've had great testimony today, so I'll just share a few brief comments regarding House File 1. First, we'd like to thank Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn and Chair Pinto for the focus in this bill on early learning scholarships. MBP members have been longstanding strong supporters of the early learning scholarship approach as a key strategy to closing opportunity gaps for our youngest learners. Expanding this successful program is very important, and we really thank you for that. One thing for the committee to consider as the bill moves forward through the process is to focus delivery on the current eligible population, including 4-year-olds, and then expand to additional infants and toddlers. And second, we are thrilled with the kindergarten readiness assessment and linkage to longitudinal education data system in the bill. This is a very strong component of the bill, and we applaud its inclusion. We also strongly support the kindergarten readiness report that's required of MDE in Article 2, Section 3, and just encourage you to think about adding a due date for delivery of the report. So again, on behalf of MBP and our members, we want to thank the representative and committee members who brought this bill forward for the focus on early scholarships and kindergarten readiness in the bill, and we look forward to making progress on early learning this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Mr. Gumnut, you're up, and then Ms. Sanford, you'll be up after that. And so you can, once you get settled in, please identify yourself and proceed.
Thank you, Chair Pinto and members. My name is Daniel Gumnut, and I'm the CEO of People Serving People. I'm here on behalf of People Serving People as well as the Prenatal to 3 Coalition of Minnesota, and we're obviously here in support of House File Number 1. People Serving People is the largest and most comprehensive shelter for children and families experiencing homelessness in the region. We're also the largest shelter for parenting youth aged 18 to 24. We're located in downtown Minneapolis. People Serving People is at the epicenter of childhood, youth, and family homelessness in the state of Minnesota. Even though People Serving People is an emergency shelter, our most intense focus and our greatest expenditures are on early education and parental engagement. which I know seems unusual, but we believe that is the greatest return on investment that we can make. We have 4-star parent-aware rated programs at our shelter and at our Center of Excellence. Often, we are the first structured learning environment that children experiencing homelessness encounter. Every day, I see firsthand the terrible toll that homelessness and the trauma and toxic stress of homelessness takes on the healthy development of Minnesota's youngest children. But we also see the profound benefits that quality early education programs can provide to these children and families experiencing homelessness. It is absolutely necessary that children experiencing homelessness be ready for kindergarten so that they're reading at grade level by 3rd grade. However, many children experiencing homelessness in Minnesota have significantly greater needs than their stably housed other children. It goes beyond the numbers and letters. Because homelessness creates so much trauma, children experiencing homelessness often need significant help developing crucial executive function skills, social emotional skills such as impulse control, using words, sitting in a circle, raising one's hand, waiting in line. Our experience and research that we've done since the early 80s with the University of Minnesota demonstrate that trauma-informed, quality early learning programs can make a dramatic difference in the lives of children experiencing homelessness, and our families experiencing homelessness rely heavily on both the Child Care Assistance Program as well as the Scholarship Program to gain access to the programs that they need. So, to conclude, we passionately believe that if we're going to permanently break the cycle of homelessness and poverty in the state of Minnesota, we need to expand access to child care assistance as well as early learning scholarships for children at the youngest age of the spectrum, prenatal to 3. This prioritization is vital to reducing family homelessness, closing the educational opportunity gap, and developing our state's future workforce. So thank you very much for putting this bill forward.
Thank you for that strong statement. Thank you for being here. And so we'll have Ms. Sanford come up, and then Ms. Hopchinsky will be up after that. So please identify yourself for the record once you're ready, and proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Claire Sanford. I'm the Government Relations Chair for the Minnesota Child Care Association, representing licensed child care centers across the state. And it is not 8 a.m. And for that reason alone, I'm excited to be here. But I'm really excited about House File 1. To quickly run through the many things we're excited about in House File 1. We like the grants and loans for provider support, particularly in Greater Minnesota. We have members looking to expand their programs in Greater Minnesota and are running up against the need for exactly these kinds of resources. We like the parent-aware evaluation. We're longtime supporters of the rating system, but recognize the need for continuous quality improvement and how it supports child outcomes and providers. We really like the statewide kindergarten readiness assessment as well. Legislative auditor said do it. Yay, let's do it. Data, it's good. We support the family child care modernization effort, even though we represent centers, because centers are in need of similar regulatory updates, so we're really interested in watching them go through that process and see what we can learn, and all providers need to succeed. We're thrilled with the investments in Teach and Retain. It's great to see the child care, early childhood workforce crisis getting attention due to the efforts of a lot of people in this room, and those programs are very much necessary. So on to the bigger investment buckets. We're super thrilled to see the major investment in both scholarships and child care assistance in this bill, and appreciate that HF1 does not pit these programs against each other. This bill not only brings us into minimum federal compliance, hopefully in time to prevent federal penalties from being assessed this fall, but also plans to use available resources to significantly bump up provider rates in the near term. We would like, however, more discussion on the permanent move in this language to a single statewide child care assistance rate. We are very supportive of increased resources for Greater Minnesota, and just think we should evaluate the multiple options that are out there for how we do that. The statewide rate is one that hasn't gotten a lot of discussion at the legislature and is sort of new. Our board just got the chance to talk about it this morning. And even in the discussion we were able to have this morning, there was already varied opinions and concern about potential unintended consequences from both Metro and Greater Minnesota providers. So we just want to really be able to look at this and evaluate all the options available. So we'll continue to work with members and providers in Greater Minnesota around those items. Super also thrilled, I say thrilled a lot in this testimony, to have the new investment in early learning scholarships. Great to move eligibility to infants and toddlers. We all know that's the biggest brain development piece. Those are the most expensive years for parents. We would prefer if instead of permanently making scholarships only for birth to 3, they would be birth to 5. There are some scholarship stories from one of our member providers in your packets, and parents are not asking for only certain ages of their young children to be covered. They are asking for help for all of those pre-kindergarten years. And really appreciate the fact that the stated intention of House File 1 is to be considered a down payment on the ongoing needs and to continue working to secure desperately needed funds for our early childhood system across Minnesota. There are plenty of ways even a temporary increase of resources will have direct benefits. Number one, obviously, if we can help a young child now, why wouldn't we do it? And our workforce will really benefit even in the short term. On the day House File 1 was announced, several of our members immediately began brainstorming how could additional funds for childcare assistance and scholarship be turned into income for staff, hiring bonuses, retention bonuses, temporary monthly wage supplements. Increasing the income of early childhood educators is our number one priority. Ideally, the resources continue, but that's where we want to put them. Don't worry, I'm wrapping up, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
You could tell my expression, yes.
So in closing, there's plenty of discussion to have, and we're so thankful there's a bold, comprehensive birth to 5 plan on the table to drive that discussion. And just to end, our association president did a radio interview last week when this bill was kind of officially announced. And to quote him, he said, House File 1's release was quote, probably the most historic and hopeful moment in early education in Minnesota. And there are a lot of people who feel that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanford. And before we turn to Ms. Helpchinsky, I'll just note, you had mentioned, Ms. Sanford had mentioned the single statewide rate, which it's true is not something that had gotten a lot of discussion up till this point today. And so just if and as members have questions regarding that, that's certainly something that we can get those questions answered in the proposed shift in House File 1 to have a single statewide rate for CCAP rather than the geographically varying rates we have right now. So just to raise that point for folks. Ms. Halapchinsky, you're up, and then Ms. Swenson will be up after that. And so please identify yourself and proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the committee for giving me the opportunity to testify. My name is Greta Haglund. This is my first time testifying. I am
You're doing great.
Thank you. I'm a toddler and preschool teacher here in St. Paul at Agape High School in Frogtown, which is a high school for adolescent parents. I have worked in early education for about 15 years, and I would love to talk about my students, but today I'm here to talk about my experiences as a teacher. In my personal life, I'm a single parent of 2 boys, and we've lived in subsidized housing for almost 10 years now, which was not my plan. A couple years ago, I was approved for a mortgage, which we were really excited about. And around the same time, I had the opportunity to go back to school to finish my bachelor's degree. So I went to Metro State. There's an early childhood studies program there. I thought I knew a lot about kids, and I was wrong. I learned a lot of things to make my classroom better there. In my last year, I learned about the Retain Grant and applied for it, and I received it. So I was really excited about that and put it away to save for a down payment on a home. When I graduated from school, I was really excited to start in my classroom using all the things that I'd learned about brain development and bringing my students' culture into my classroom more. The bummer about graduating was that although the quality of my work went up, my personal life, the quality kind of went down. I didn't receive any kind of additional income for getting a BA. I was already a lead teacher, so I didn't get any more income. Now have student loans, and my reapplication for mortgage was denied because I have student loans now. So that was kind of a shame for me. I noticed in my classes, a lot of my co-students worked with kids the same as me while they're going to school, but a lot of them, after they graduated, ended up moving either to administration or elementary education to be able to increase their income a little bit. And I think it's such a shame that after all the training we got and new information that could invigorate our classrooms, a lot of that does not get to the children that it was intended to get to. I think that these grants are really amazing and they're such a blessing, but it has to also be something sustainable so that teachers will stay in the workforce, because While the early learning scholarships are wonderful, and almost all my students have them, in order to have spaces for those students, in order to have quality, we need to have teachers who are dedicated and also who will stay in their positions for an extended period of time. I notice also all the things that I learned in school, when I get to work, a lot of them don't translate over, because when early education is ran as a business, decisions are made based on business and based on money instead of what we know is good for children. So some examples are, we know low student-teacher ratios are good for children. We know that consistent caregivers are good for children, and time for planning for teachers are good for children. But what ends up happening because of staffing and money is that we fill the classrooms with kids. Kids get bumped around from room to room sometimes because of staffing, and we have high expectations of teachers without giving us enough time to get done what we need to get done outside of being with the children. A lot of times, we teachers know what we need to do, but we don't have the time or the staffing in order to do the things that we know are right for children. I think one of the things about this is that if we treat early education more as an investment instead of just as a business, then that's what we're going to get back from it. We can make decisions based on what's right for children and what's right for teachers and families.
I'll have to have you wrap up shortly if you can, please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say I chose to invest my career in this field, and I thank everyone here who also chooses to invest and continue to invest in our children and our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that perspective. It's so helpful to us to hear from someone doing this work right now and the reality of not just your work in the classroom, but the impact on the rest of your life. That's really helpful to us. So thank you so much for providing that. Thank you. So Ms. Swenson, you're up, and then we've got Ms. Horst up after that. And so if you can identify yourself for the record and then proceed.
Mr. Chair and members, I'm here. My name is Karen Swenson. I am here on behalf of Kids Count on Us, and I am also the director of a small nonprofit preschool in Rochester, Minnesota named Meadow Park Preschool and Child Care Center. We serve 75 children starting in preschool age through school age, and I employ 11 staff, 7 of which are qualified teachers. And I've been the executive director there for almost 30 years, and I've been in early childhood much more than that. So I'm here today because we have a crisis in our child care system. We are still suffering from cuts from child care assistance that happened 15 years ago, and we are falling further behind every year. There are nearly 30,000 children in Minnesota whose families rely on child care assistance, and there are thousands more on the waiting list. Many families have given up. Some don't bother applying. We need more funding for these families. We also need increasing provider reimbursement, which is a huge piece of this puzzle. Child care workers are severely underpaid because rates are so out of date, pegged back to 2011. What if we paid doctors and hospital workers what we paid 9 years ago currently? Currently, we are funding childcare by low teacher wages and no benefits. This is on the backs of our workforce, specifically women. We're in a women workforce and women of color. And we're doing this important work. I have a master's degree in education. I pay nearly $1,000 a month for my own health insurance. The median wage of the teacher qualified individuals in my organization are paid $14.66 an hour. It's just unbelievable. This is unacceptable, and it is unsustainable. We need to increase reimbursement rates so we can raise pay and begin to address the workforce issue that's out there. No matter where they live or what they look like, all Minnesota children deserve a great start. And specifically, a solid early childhood foundation. All children deserve to be paid, or all teachers deserve to be paid a livable wage and benefits. The $500 million in House File 1 is just going to do that. It's going to be a great start for children. And it's going to support families, and it's going to take our teachers seriously that are doing the hard work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Swenson. And Ms. Schotthorst, you're up, and then Mr. Adkins will be up after you. And once you get settled in, identify yourself, please, and then proceed.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Lauren Schotthorst, and I serve as the Director of Workplace Management and Workforce Development for the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. For some brief background, the Minnesota Chamber is a statewide organization representing more than 6,300 businesses of all types and sizes and more than 500,000 employees throughout Minnesota. But we have also partnered with the legislature and a number of organizations that already have or will be testifying tonight on components of the bill before us. For example, we co-chair the Early Childhood Crisis Group mentioned earlier, which is dedicated to simultaneously solving the connected issues of Minnesota's worsening achievement and opportunity gaps and the severe shortage of quality early care and education programs. We also hold a role on the statutorily created Family Child Care Task Force with two of your colleagues here tonight that we heard about this morning, and we are working to ensure the viability of this segment of the child care industry. So with that background and context, I appreciate the opportunity to share our perspective on this issue more broadly in House File 1. One of the great strengths of Minnesota's economy is our talented and reliable workforce. But finding skilled workers is clearly among top concerns of employers of all types and sizes across the state. Minnesota is facing a significant workforce shortage, and the current need for workers is hindered by the growing childcare shortage in our communities. This shortage has the potential to impede economic success in many communities. Increasing quality early care and education is important, not just for addressing the current workforce shortage. It also addresses the workforce needs of the future, since early education improves kindergarten readiness, leading to closing the preparation gap and ultimately the achievement gap and career readiness. So we view this issue through a number of lenses. Quality early childhood care and education provides the foundation for a productive future workforce and also supports the current workforce so that parents are able to participate. We support investment in early childhood education, and we support strategic realignment of existing resources, ensuring families throughout the state have the flexibility to find a high-quality program that fits their unique needs. Historically, our efforts have been focused on supporting early learning scholarships, child care tax credits, and child care capacity building grants, in addition to measures that support program integrity, improvement, and accountability. And we will continue to do so to help make Minnesota more affordable for employers, employees, and their families. We're particularly interested in increasing the supply of childcare in communities with a documented shortage of providers to ensure that communities have the ability to develop strategies that address the distinctive needs of regional economies and local employers. We are pleased to see that a number of these initiatives are included in the legislation before us. We know there will be an active debate on the proposed size and one-time nature of this investment, as well as other spending and tax reduction priorities, and we're looking forward to working with the legislature to get this right. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to share our perspective on this critical issue with the committee tonight.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your testimony. And so we'll have Mr. Adkins come on up, and after that is going to be Salima Shabazz Salahuddin. And so, Mr. Adkins, identify yourself for the record, please, and please proceed.
Chair Pinto, members of the committee, good evening. My name is Jason Adkins. I'm Executive Director of the Minnesota Catholic Conference. We're the public policy voice of the Catholic Church in Minnesota. We're grateful to Chair Pinto and Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn for bringing this legislation forward that focuses on children, especially poor and at-risk children, and their parents so that they have vital connections to supports that help them at the earliest stages of life and child development. We'd like to speak this evening in support of two provisions in particular of HF1, most notably the prenatal disparities provision and the home visiting programs. These programs and the assistance they provide are important, especially to pregnant mothers, as an abundance of research literature shows these programs encourage better maternal and child health outcomes by, among other things, encouraging doctor visits, healthier habits, better nutrition, reducing the incidence of child injury and neglect, and fostering better long-term academic achievement. One study by the RAND Corporation indicated that for every $1.75 spent on home visiting programs, it is likely to save $5.70 in spending in protective services, special ed, and criminal justice programs over the course of that child's life. That is extraordinary and underscores the importance of investments in the earliest stages to reduce opportunity gaps, so that opportunity gaps don't turn into longer-term health and achievement gaps. As this committee and our legislature continue to examine early child well-being, it should be kept in mind that the only set of data points that we are aware of that correlate with the achievement gaps in reading are the percentage of children living in two-parent homes. Now, correlation is not causation, but it doesn't mean it isn't compelling. Though the programs being discussed in HF1 fill important opportunity gaps, there is no substitute for a child's quality interactions with parents in a home marked by family stability. We need bolder proposals that encourage and assist people to stay at home with their children in early childhood, not just temporary paid leave programs from work, but instead other policies that promote marriage and family stability. We're not here today to recommend specific proposals, as the topic is HF1, but the research is clear that there is no better way to give a child a great start. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Thank you for being here. So we've got Salima Shabazz Salahuddin coming up, and then after that will be Krista Andrews. And thank you for being here, and as you get settled in, please identify yourself for the record, and then proceed as you're ready.
All right, good evening. I'm Salima Shabazz Salahuddin, and it's an honor to be before the chairman. Thank you. As a mother, I have 4 beautiful children, 14, 9, 6, and 5, who all have at some point received financial support in early education. With early education support, that is not always affordable, especially with multiple children. This allows children to be exposed to a setting in school, a routine outside of their home routine, benefiting from having better transitions into elementary school. And I can say that from my own experience. Through being in early child care, it allowed access and hands-on support through the community and resources. At this time, in some of my experiences, that eliminates labels and inaccurate and unnecessary screenings, or you'll be able to detect what may be needed for early intervention. And this made my children's transition very, very easy to go into school. As a parent, through the years, the financial support has supported me with continuing education and given me a sound mind to continue to get out and go to work and having dependable, reliable help. In addition to those great experiences that I could have not done by myself, when life comes and uncontrollable situations happen and major transitions take place, and I could kind of chime in with the supporter of people serving people, and a lot of transitionings that happened with my children, this became a support in areas for mental health, for restoring and reviving my children. This gave them a predictable, stable routine as I was able to be revived as a mother and as a caregiver to restore and rehabilitate my children. This gave them some sense of blissfulness while I was able to get myself together and get them together. The money is a proper investment. I don't know how I could have really done it without stable, consistent, reliable, dependable childcare. And with this support, I feel secure because I was able to continue on with trusted relationships that I might not have had outside of the educational system. And at this point in time in our healthy wholeness, we have been able to be successful with my son having the support he needed with partnerships like Washburn Children for Mental Health, Think Small, the North Side Achievement Zone, who came right on board like a triage almost, where I can continue to be the great parent that I strive to be, even when I had no control of things that unforeseen things that not only cause trauma for my children, but for me as well. So I really appreciate the support. Continue to invest because our children are our future. And if we can gravitate to them at those precious moments where they need us the most, we can give them the greatest shot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your perspective as a parent. Ms. Laudin, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So we've got Krista Andrews up, and then Ann Krisnick will be next. And so, Ms. Andrews, identify yourself for the record, please, and proceed.
Mr. Chair and members, my name is Krista Anders, and I serve as the coordinator for a statewide public-private partnership called Transforming Minnesota's Early Childhood Workforce. This work is informed by the recommendations from the National Academies of Sciences and the more than 40,000 early childhood educators in Minnesota. I know that this committee is fully aware of the importance of investing in our young children. One of the most critical components in a quality early learning experience is the teacher. And I say teacher intentionally because no matter the setting, the early childhood provider is teaching and children are learning. Being an early childhood educator is a critically important profession, and yet we all know that the early childhood workforce is undervalued and undercompensated. You've heard tonight directly from early childhood teachers about the poverty level wages earned by the early childhood workforce. In Minnesota, 1/3 of the early childhood workforce qualifies for public assistance, and we spend $43 million per year in public assistance to support these primarily female workers. By working for such abysmal wages, these women, many of whom are women of color, are quite literally subsidizing working parents and businesses across the state. I am here tonight in support of House File 1 as it would make a positive difference for the early childhood workforce. We strongly support increasing access dollars, whether that be through the Child Care Assistance Program, the Early Learning Scholarships, or other ways, as a way to get critically needed resources to the early childhood workforce and subsequently increase compensation. The tide of early childhood workers, particularly family child care providers, leaving the field is undoubtedly connected to the reduction in the CCAP reimbursement rate. The investments in House File 1 to the Teach and Retain programs would provide much-needed support so that child care providers can continue their education and be rewarded for staying in the field. Finally, the investments in the workforce and the early childhood system through grants to DEED, the Minnesota Initiative Foundation's First Children's Finance, and others would provide important opportunities to build quality and support the early childhood workforce. Minnesota's early childhood workforce is literally the foundation upon which the rest of the early childhood system depends. Minnesota needs qualified, diverse, supported, and equitably compensated early childhood educators so that parents can go to work, businesses can hire employees, and children can thrive. Thank you very much for this bill and for the opportunity to be with you here tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. And as Ms. Krisnick comes up, we'll have Diane Halsey will be next. I can't resist an editorial comment. You had said that the early childhood workforce is the foundation for the rest of the early childhood system. What I thought you were going to say is the foundation for everything else we do. Because, of course,
that's what I meant to say.
Okay. Because it all starts in those first couple of years. Ms. Krisnick, please identify yourself and proceed.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I'm Ann Krisnick. I'm the Executive Director of the Joint Religious Legislative Coalition, which is a statewide interfaith group comprised of the Minnesota Council of Churches, the Minnesota Catholic Conference, the Jewish Community Relations Council, and the Islamic Center of Minnesota. And I'm here to speak in support of the child care assistance provisions of House File 1. In our faith communities, we see families with all kinds of joys and celebrations, but also a significant number of struggles. And we see families that are struggling to find affordable child care. We see providers that make the difficult decision to leave a job and really a mission and a calling that they have because they can't afford to remain in the field because of the low reimbursement rates. We see parents who have found work or opportunities to go to school and learn a trade or profession that are unable to do that because of the number of waiting list spots that aren't currently funded. One of our congregations, our member congregations down in Rochester, decided that they wanted to address a key need in their community. And after discussion, they identified childcare as one of the key challenges that really needed to be addressed there. And they made a decision to convert their Sunday school space to childcare and worked with a nonprofit to do that. It really underscores the importance that our folks are hearing every day about childcare. This bill is a really important first step to addressing the low provider rates and the need to address them. We are very pleased to see that it puts Minnesota into minimal compliance with the federal requirements. We also look very much forward to working with members of this committee to continue to build on this important first step toward provider rates, to increase them, and to address the number of families that are on the waiting list. We know that childcare is really important to children and to parents and to employers, and we look forward to continuing to address this. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you for your testimony. So we'll have Ms. Halsey come up. She's here. She's not here, okay. And she's the last person who was on the list in advance. It does feel like every single person in the room has spoken, I must say. To me, I know that's not actually true, but it feels that way. Is there anyone else who's here who wishes to provide public testimony on the bill? I'm not seeing anybody come up, but just in case that there is. So here's the plan, members. So we will be voting on this bill by the end of our session on Thursday, so 9:30 a.m. on Thursday. I understand, I get the sense from the minority that it, and I suppose from all members, that seems like a pretty doable plan. Though I will note that, it's not too late. If folks have questions for anybody who's here, any statements they want to make or anything else business they want to accomplish now to make it easier on Thursday, we can. Alternatively, my expectation is we should be just fine to get through whatever we need to Thursday morning, and then we can be all done. So I'll maybe look to lead Representative Franson if that seems to you. Representative Franson, we should be okay to get this done on Thursday and be done now? But any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. You have our guarantee that we will be done by 9:30 on Thursday.
Okay, I've got okay. Representative Franson is.
Depending on how much coffee I've had.
Oh, that's right. We're all going to need something. Yeah, exactly. But at least this is not too bad today. So a reminder that if there are any amendments, there don't need to be. They would be due tomorrow at 3. And then anything from any other members who have any questions for anybody who's testified? I get the impression no. So, I really do want to thank everyone who provided your statements. It's really, really helpful. And in particular, I will say the folks who provided perspectives as parents and as individual providers. That's really powerful, and we don't get nearly enough of that. So Representative Kotyza-Witthuhn, I think on Thursday we'll give you the last word on your bill at that point. We discussed it then. So good. Thanks so much to all, and we are adjourned.